Hey, let's talk. You've probably already seen the headline flying around. The Dallas Cowboys signed the fastest wide receiver from the Eagles roster. Sounds huge at first glance, right? But hold on. Let's dig a little deeper before we start celebrating or criticizing. Yeah, it's true. The Cowboys have just signed wide receiver Paris Campbell. But let's be honest here. This isn't A.J. Brown. It's not Devonta Smith. This move isn't about landing a superstar. It's about something else entirely. And maybe that's what we need to figure out together. Now, Campbell's name might not light up the marquee, but it sure has lit up fan reactions. The guy's bounced around the NFC East. Colts, Giants, Eagles, and now Cowboys. That's 3 division rivals before landing in Dallas. But what exactly does this say about him? And more importantly, what does this say about the Cowboys' plans? Because here's the thing. This might not be the blockbuster signing fans were hoping for. But that doesn't mean it's meaningless. Not every offseason move has to be a headline grabber. Sometimes it's the low-risk, high-upside signings that pay off in ways no one expects. Still, I want to hear what you think. Seriously, drop this in the comments. Do you think Paris Campbell is just another training camp body? Or is there a chance he surprises us all this season? And hey, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. We've got a lot more Cowboys talk coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. So let's keep going, because while Campbell might not be the WR1 fans dreamed of, he might just be a bigger piece of the puzzle than people realize. Now let's take a closer look at what his real role might be in this Cowboys roster. All right, now that we've settled the hype a bit, let's get real. What exactly is Paris Campbell bringing to the table in this Cowboys roster? Let's start with the basics. Speed. Campbell clocked a blazing 4.31 in the 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine. That's elite-level acceleration, no question about it. And in a league where inches can change the outcome of a play, that kind of speed matters. But here's where it gets interesting. This signing might not be about Paris Campbell lining up as your WR2 or even WR3. This could be about depth. It could be about flexibility. And honestly, it could be about special teams. Think about it. The Cowboys have struggled at times with consistency in kickoff and punt returns. Campbell brings a skill set that could push competition in that department, maybe even challenge Kevontae Turpin. Turpin's electric, sure, but having someone breathing down his neck might just raise the overall level of that unit. And let's be clear, just because a signing isn't flashy doesn't mean it's irrelevant. Around the NFL, teams make small moves like this all the time. Guys who start off as depth or special teamers and end up playing crucial roles when injuries or opportunities strike. Remember when Noah Brown quietly stuck around for years before finally having a decent run? That's the kind of story that starts with a move like this. So maybe we need to shift our perspective. Maybe this is less about Paris Campbell being the next star receiver and more about building layers in this roster. Layers that help the team get stronger across the board. Let me throw this one at you. Do you think the Cowboys should invest more in special teams this year? Go vote in the poll and tell me why you feel that way in the comments. I want to hear your take. And remember, we're just getting started. This is the early phase of the offseason. There's a lot more coming. But while some fans are already sounding the alarm, let's talk about why that reaction might actually be a bit over the top. You've seen it, I've seen it, it's all over social media. Some fans are acting like the Cowboys just made the worst move of the offseason by signing Paris Campbell. But seriously, why all the outrage? Let's not kid ourselves. This wasn't some blockbuster signing that was meant to shake up the league. It was a calculated depth move. Yet somehow, there's a digital storm brewing, with folks calling this a wasted signing, or worse, using it as another excuse to bash the front office. Come on. Are we really at a point where every single roster move has to be either a superstar acquisition or a complete disaster? There's no in-between anymore? And here's the thing. I get it. I understand the frustration that's been building over the years. But turning every minor transaction into a crisis just doesn't help. It's like some fans are sitting on the edge of their seats, waiting for any reason to hit that rage post button online. Let's take a breath here. The Cowboys have already made 10 or 11 roster moves this offseason. That's more activity than we've seen this early in recent years. It's not like the front office is sitting on their hands. They're working the board. Maybe not with headline moves just yet. But that doesn't mean they aren't building toward something bigger. You know what I think? I think part of the fan base is just impatient. And look, no judgment. I've been there too. But it's worth asking. Are we being too quick to judge every move before the full picture is even on the table? Let me know in the comments. Do you think Cowboys fans are becoming too impatient with every front office decision? I'd love to hear your take. And hey, maybe drop a vote in the poll we've got running too. One thing's for sure, we're still in the early stages of free agency. There's plenty of time left for the big swings. But before we demand another signing, let's take a hard look at one spot that still clearly needs help, the wide receiver room. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Because while Paris Campbell might add speed and special teams value, let's be honest, this wide receiver group still needs something more. If you're like me, you've probably been asking, is this front office really going to go into 2025 relying on Jalen Tolbert as the WR3? Don't get me wrong, Tolbert showed flashes last season, but flashes don't win playoff games. Consistency does, and right now, we don't know yet if he's ready to take that next step. That's why I believe this move with Campbell isn't the final word. It's just part of a broader puzzle. The front office knows there's still work to be done in this unit, and if you look at the free agent market, there are some interesting names still floating out there. Keenan Allen could be released. Tyler Lockett's future in Seattle is murky. Heck, even Amari Cooper might become available. Can you imagine a reunion? Now, maybe none of those happen, but what's more realistic is this. The Cowboys are likely targeting a true WR2 in the early rounds of the draft. A young receiver with burst, strong route running, and the ability to grow alongside CeeDee Lamb. That's the long-term play. But here's the big question for you. Would you rather see the Cowboys bring in a proven veteran now, or put your chips on the draft and trust a rookie to step up right away? Drop your vote in the poll and hit the comments. I really want to know what direction you'd take if you were sitting in the GM's chair. And hey, let's not forget one underrated aspect here. A veteran WR wouldn't just help on the field. He could be a voice in the locker room, a mentor for Tolbert, Brooks, and whoever else gets added in the coming weeks. So yeah, Paris Campbell brings speed, but the Cowboys still need reliability. And as the roster takes shape, we've got to keep a clear head and remember one thing. The season hasn't even started yet, and that's exactly what I want to talk about next.